Now, a very interesting story I read in the Sydney Morning Herald, which might make you think twice before picking out food at the supermarket. Almost a decade ago, a scientist at the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology organisation, Dr. Debashish Mazumdar, purchased 2 types of chicken meat to feed to fish for an experiment. Now, one of these pieces of chicken was free range, the other one was corn-fed, and they should have very different elemental makeups based on how they were raised. But what he found was the 2 chicken meats were actually very similar, and exposed food fraud, as he calls it, was becoming increasingly common. So to crack down on this, him and his team of nuclear scientists have spent a decade developing a handheld detector that can work out the origin of a food product in minutes on the basis of the elements within it. And how's this? In the early trials of this device, he's already found that Australian tiger prawns on sale for Christmas at a Sydney fishmonger were actually from Malaysia. Which makes you wonder, Joe.
I love this story so much.
Are we being lied to?
Finally, we know what's really going on at Lucas Heights. This is like an Australian version of Stranger Things.
Look, you know, this could be leading into a lot of new further developments and investment and inventions. I love it.
I think it's amazing.
Well, but, you know, corn-fed chicken, and, you know, if you're a farm girl, it's yellow. You should be able to see it. Corn-fed chicken actually has a yellow tinge to it, and it should.
Yes.
I've got some in my freezer at the moment that I bought at our local market.
There's only 2 rules with food. If I want it to taste good and not give me cancer, that's the only barrier that it's got to jump. Right?
Well, but you won't know with the prawns.
Quite frankly, even the cancer's not a deal breaker.
But the interesting thing about it, and as a farmer yourself, the idea that we have food that is being marketed, fresh food being marketed in this country as though it were from Australia, and it is not, is incredibly alarming.
It is. Look, I think once upon a time, Kel, your attitude was totally legitimate and you could get away with that because, you know, food once upon a time was actually food. But today, when you have about 10 different numbers and all these different ingredients on a label that you don't even know what it is more now than ever important to know what's going into your food. As a farmer, I'm faced with things right now like Bovaer 10, which is an additive they're trying to feed to into feedlots to, you know, reduce emissions. Yeah, that's right. There's all these things, and there's no longitudinal testing. Cancer rates are going up, so maybe the food, like there are legitimate questions.
I might have to take some of that stuff myself, to be perfectly honest.